Here at the Subotica Railway Station in northern Serbia, a crowd of people are cheerfully waving their national flags, celebrating the arrival of a brand new high-speed train. As the train slowly comes to a stop, the president of Serbia steps out of the carriage and announces with excitement, starting today, the journey from Belgrade to Subotica will be shortened from over 5 hours to just 79 minutes. For many Serbians, this change is something that previous generations could hardly have imagined. This high-speed rail line was built by a Chinese company over the course of 8 years, and it's also the first high-speed railway China has ever built in Europe. At the beginning of the project, most people believed that Chinese high-speed rail technology could never make its way into the European market. In 2017, the European Commission even stepped in to investigate the Hungarian section of the Hungary-Serbia Railway, trying to halt its progress. But after 8 years of hard work, the Chinese engineering team finally completed the Serbian section of the railway and brought it fully into operation. So, what exactly does this railway mean for both Hungary and Serbia? And over the past 8 years of construction, what kinds of challenges did the Chinese team face along the way? If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. In fact, the plan to upgrade the Hungary-Serbia Railway began 8 years ago. Before that, there had already been a railway line connecting Budapest and Belgrade. This line was originally built in 1882 and now has a history of more than 140 years. But as a century-old route, it had almost lost its original value. The tracks were severely worn out, the supporting facilities along the line were outdated, and the railway could no longer meet the demands of modern transportation. More importantly, nearly 90% of the route was single track, which meant that trains could only travel in one direction at a time. As a result, the average speed was less than 40 kilometers per hour, and delays were common. At that rate, a trip from Budapest to Belgrade would take at least 8 to 9 hours. With such limited capacity and efficiency, it became increasingly difficult to support the growing cross-border logistics needs and the expanding trade between the two countries. By 2013, Hungary and Serbia reached an agreement to carry out a full-scale upgrade of the railway that runs through both countries, aiming to transform it into a modern high-speed line. According to the original plan, the new high-speed railway would stretch about 340 kilometers, connecting the Serbian capital Belgrade with the Hungarian capital Budapest. The total estimated investment for the project was around $3 billion. In terms of technical standards, the design speed of the trains would increase from the original 40 kilometers per hour to 200 kilometers per hour. However, since neither country had the technical capacity to achieve that on their own, they had to seek international cooperation to modernize the railway. When the project was first launched, it attracted bids from numerous construction and engineering companies around the world. After several rounds of intense technical evaluations and proposal comparisons, a Chinese company won the multi-billion-dollar project in 2014. The result came as a surprise to many Western firms who didn't believe that China's proposal could possibly prevail in the European market. But at that time, China's high-speed rail technology wasn't yet considered the most advanced. So why did Serbia ultimately choose a Chinese company? In fact, the core reason Serbia ultimately chose to cooperate with a Chinese company was because Chinese technology proved to be reliable and highly efficient. This railway was a key national project for Serbia. Not only did it have to cross complex terrain and withstand variable climate conditions, but it also needed to meet the demands of large-scale passenger and freight transportation in the future. To achieve this, the Serbian government set a series of very strict technical standards. Thanks to their extensive experience accumulated over years of high-speed rail construction, the Chinese team delivered impressive results in both design and implementation. In comparison, The efficiency of Chinese companies was also far greater than that of their Western counterparts. In November 2013, the prime ministers of China, Hungary, and Serbia jointly announced the official launch of the railway project and quickly established a dedicated task force. From project initiation to the official start of construction, the entire process was completed within just 3 years, an exceptionally fast pace for a large-scale, cross-border infrastructure project involving 3 countries. For China, however, this railway carries major significance as well. It is the first high-speed railway built by a Chinese company in Europe, and if completed successfully, it could open the door for China to enter the European market. To ensure top-notch quality, China dispatched more than 200 technical experts for on-site inspections before construction began and pledged to make this line one of the most advanced high-speed railways in Europe. Yet despite the thorough preparations, the project still faced certain obstacles during its progress. So, what exactly happened along the way? As the first high-speed railway built by China in Europe, the Hungary-Serbia Railway was not well received at the beginning. Many Western media outlets at the time believed that such a large-scale infrastructure project, led by China, would be nearly impossible to realize. Their reasoning was straightforward. China's technical standards did not align with those of the European Union, and its communication systems might not pass Europe's certification process. But the real challenges went far beyond public skepticism. Since Hungary is a member of the EU, every step of China's involvement in this high-speed rail project had to comply with the EU's strict regulatory framework. In 2017, the European Commission launched an investigation into the project, citing that major transportation projects must go through open bidding. This investigation forced construction on the Hungarian section to pause temporarily, and it wasn't until October 2021 that the project made substantial progress. During that period, issues such as environmental impact, project transparency, and procurement procedures were repeatedly raised. Virtually every stage of the project was examined under a microscope. To ensure smooth progress, the Chinese engineering team carried out extensive preparation work. In the early stages, China established a high-speed rail control system laboratory in Serbia's capital, Belgrade, focusing on meeting the EU's technical specifications for interoperability certification requirements. Take the communication and signaling system as an example. The entire certification process involved over 2,000 individual tests, and the Chinese team successfully obtained 71 key certifications. Moreover, from catenary suspension systems and turnout monitoring to interlocking control, centralized dispatching, and power supply equipment, all of these core high-speed rail technologies from China passed the EU's technical reviews and interoperability assessments. This achievement marked the first time that Chinese high-speed rail technology earned an official passport to enter the heart of Europe. After several years of construction, the Belgrade-Novi Sad section within Serbia officially opened to traffic in March 2022. The train's maximum operating speed increased from the original 40 to 50 kilometers per hour to 200 kilometers per hour, reducing the travel time between the two cities from over 90 minutes to around 30 minutes. Over the past 3 years since its opening, this section has operated an average of 62 trains per day, carrying more than 3.4 million passengers annually, with a total of about 12 million passengers so far. It has completely transformed the way people commute between Belgrade and Novi Sad. But this was only part of the entire line. By October 2025, the Novi Sad Subotica section in Serbia was completed and opened to traffic, marking the full operation of the Serbian section of the Hungary-Serbia Railway. At the opening ceremony, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić took the inaugural ride and proudly announced, "The era of Serbia's first high-speed railway has arrived." With the opening of the Novi Sad Subotica section, travel time between Belgrade and Subotica was cut from over 5 hours to just 1 hour and 20 minutes at its fastest. Meanwhile, the cross-border section connecting Serbia and Hungary continues to move forward. with joint testing and full interconnection expected to be completed in early 2026. Once finished, trains will be able to run directly from Belgrade to Budapest, reducing the journey time from 9 hours to only 3. With the railway officially in operation, new business opportunities are quietly emerging along the route. Real estate agents in Novi Sad have noticed that the number of clients inquiring about buying property in Belgrade has increased by 30%. Meanwhile, a teacher who commutes daily by high-speed train did the math. Although the monthly ticket price remains the same, her commuting time has been cut by 2/3, giving her an extra 2 hours every day to spend with her child, something she feels is truly worthwhile. Thus, this project is not only one of the best high-speed railways ever built in Europe, but it has also opened the door for China's high-speed rail technology to enter the European market. However, the strategic significance of this railway is far from simple. As early as 2014, during the China, Central and Eastern European countries leaders meeting, the prime ministers of China, Hungary, Serbia, and North Macedonia jointly proposed a top-level plan to extend the Hungary-Serbia Railway further south, eventually connecting it to the port of Piraeus in Greece. The core goal of this vision was to give Hungary, Serbia, and North Macedonia, 3 landlocked countries, direct access to the Mediterranean and create an efficient overland corridor across the Balkan Peninsula. The port of Piraeus is the largest port in Greece and is often described as the maritime crossroads of the Mediterranean, the Black Sea, and the Red Sea. It serves as a key hub that connects the Middle East, Europe, and North Africa. China has always placed great importance on this strategic plan. In 2016, a Chinese company acquired a 51% stake in the Piraeus Port Authority for €280.5 million, and in 2021, it increased its shareholding to 67%. Today, the port of Piraeus has become the #1 container port in the Mediterranean and the 4th largest in Europe. Since then, China has been actively promoting the construction of the China-Europe-Land Sea Express line. Under this framework, cargo ships depart from China and arrive at the port of Piraeus, where goods are then transported north by rail through Greece, North Macedonia, and Serbia, eventually reaching Hungary and extending deeper into the European continent. This transport artery, often compared to a fishbone in structure, is effectively linking Eastern, Central, and even Western Europe, creating a fast, efficient, and stable trade channel between China and Europe. To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.